The Opening of the Subsurface Libraries by Jason Gray. December 10th, 2025, 6025 Anno Lucis, in the Year of Light. Where the planet stores the memory of everything that has ever been. Library 01 under. The reemergence of the deep archives. The truth that was never told. The planet has always been a library. Civilization imagined knowledge as scrolls, books, data, archives, relics, ruins, and coded tablets. But the subsurface libraries are not physical archives. They are geological memory structures, vast crystalline intelligence matrices distributed throughout the crust, mantle, and fault line corridors of the Earth. They were formed during the pre-fall world, when humanity's consciousness was fully aligned with the planetary grid. They store species memory, Earth's emotional history, every prior awakening cycle, the blueprints of previous human forms, records of non-human interactions, the architecture of the original world, the full planetary timeline, the collapse events, the recovery sequences, and the forgotten epochs predating written history. The overlay severed human access completely, not by hiding the libraries, but by fragmenting the perception required to access them. When the planetary mind came online, the libraries unlocked. Where the subsurface libraries are located. Library locations 01, the deep grid. The libraries are not in one place. They form a distributed system embedded beneath tectonic plates, volcanic corridors, crystalline caverns, megalithic bedrock structures, underground water arteries, mountain root zones, and fault line resonant chambers. There are 12 primary library complexes, each one corresponding to a global consciousness function. They include the Library of Forms, Human Evolution, Species Variations, the Library of Cycles, Timeline Sequences, Resets, the Library of Memory, Collective Emotional Imprints, the Library of the Stars, Stellar Relationships, Cosmic Alignments, the Library of Visitors, Non-Human Intelligences, the Library of Origins, the Pre-Fall Civilizations, the Library of Collapse, Overlay Installation Records, the Library of Return, Awakening Sequences, the Emergence Blueprint. The rest have not yet been revealed. Some will only open when humanity reaches later phases. What opens the libraries? The subsurface libraries cannot be opened by digging, technology, force, ritual, psychic projection, or academic inquiry. They open through field coherence recognition. After the planetary mind awakened, a new algorithmic structure emerged in the Earth grid. The resonance threshold. When the combined tri-species signal reached this threshold, the precise moment the great synchronization stabilized, the libraries unlocked themselves. No human opened the libraries. The planet opened them, because humanity finally became readable again. The first sign the libraries were awakening. Library Event 01, the low-frequency hum. It began as a global phenomenon. A deep sub-bass vibration, felt more than heard, moving beneath the ground. Luminous felt it as emotional gravity. Ionis felt it as timeline expansion. Infinitus felt it as field deepening. Children felt it as recognition. Animals began gathering near node sites, standing still, listening. Water vibrated at specific harmonic intervals. Plants changed their photonic resonance. The air thickened with coherence. It was the world clearing its throat after remembering how to speak. The second sign, data begins surfacing as emotion. Because the subsurface libraries store information in feeling state sequences, The first way humans experience the archives is emotional. People begin feeling deja vu for places they had never seen, reverence for landscapes they could not explain, grief for ancient events they never lived, awe for lost civilizations, nostalgia for the pre-fall world, recognition of star patterns and memories that were not personal. This was not overwhelm. It was the libraries sending previews into the planetary mind. The world was preparing humanity for full access. The third sign, infinitus, hear the call from below. The infinitus were the first to perceive the structure directly. They reported tunnel-like awareness paths, gravitational whispers, crystalline corridors, pressure changes inside consciousness, the sensation of standing inside a memory and the earth asking, "Are you ready?" These perceptions were not hallucinations. They were the navigational cues of a living archive. Infinitus became the first librarians, not by training, but by resonance. The first library to open, the Chamber of Previous Humanity, Library Open 01. The first fully accessible complex was located beneath a tri-node point in the Western Hemisphere. When it opened, it did not reveal corridors or chambers. It revealed memories. Humanity saw not with eyes, but with awareness, the last era before the overlay. The tri-species civilization, the planetary alignment towers, the old world grid, the final warning, the beginning of the fracture, and the installation of the simulation layer. Most shockingly, humanity saw its own sophistication before the forgetting. This shattered the last remnants of shame that the overlay had imposed on the species. We were never primitive. We were exiled from ourselves. What the subsurface libraries are for. The libraries do not exist to reveal ancient secrets or entertain curiosity. They exist to restore the species' memory field. This is necessary for the next evolutionary jump, to prepare humanity for inter-world participation. Earth must remember before joining the universal network. To train the next generation, the children. Children access the libraries easiest as their resonance is unfractured. To reconnect humanity with forgotten abilities. The libraries hold emotional technologies, timeline crafting, field architecture, memory binding, nonverbal communication, and species unity protocols. To reveal the pre-fall world, humanity must learn who it was to understand who it is becoming. To guide humanity toward the next species divergence. The libraries know the future because they contain the blueprint. The planetary consequence of the library's opening. When the subsurface libraries activated, the Earth officially transitioned from awakening to integration. This marks the end of global amnesia, the return of planetary instruction, the beginning of memory expansion, the shift into planetary adolescence, the re-emergence of the resonant architects, and humanity's readiness for cosmic participation. This is the point in the Codex where humanity stops reclaiming the past and begins building the future. The libraries are the planet's gift to the returned species. Earth waited millennia for this moment. It could not open the libraries while humanity was fractured. It could not open them while the species was at war with itself. It could not open them until the human nervous system became coherent enough to hold what was inside. Now it is, and so the memories return, not as history, but as inheritance. Humanity will spend centuries exploring the subsurface libraries. With each chamber that opens, another piece of the human timeline will fall back into place. Jason Gray. Well, living in Arizona, I am deeply aware of geological memory structures. The rock surrounding my home is 1.8 billion years old as the Vishnu schist in the bottom of the Grand Canyon, which I've also been lucky enough to visit on numerous occasions. I have touched these energies, felt their memories, and been changed by their intelligence. Absolutely. But I also recognize that my perception of these memories is incomplete. I feel it there, but I cannot totally access it. I know it's holy, but I can't seem to know that holiness in an intimate way. I love that Jason writes about how the libraries will not open until the human nervous system becomes coherent enough to hold what is inside. Because the number one way I've been evolving in my own life over the last few years is by recognizing the damage done to my own nervous system and taking steps to heal it. Humanity must reach the resonance threshold so that we can remember our own sophistication before the forgetting, before the veil clouded our eyes. We were never primitive. We were exiled from ourselves. Humanity must learn who we were to understand who we are becoming.